He's a creation of Putin's incompetence. He is not himself a leader who would have scaled the heights and done all these things on his own. He needed somebody to make such a monumental error.
I think he's made some disastrous moves over the last 18 months, completely lost his space. I think he is unrealistic, cost Ukraine lives. I think he's cost Ukraine territory. Zelensky is going to go down in Ukrainian history as a great leader, and he deserves that.
I think we should talk about Zelensky now too. So I'm going to give a brief defense, but I do think I'm wrong. So and then you can take it after my brief defense and tell me why he doesn't belong on this list. I will say two things for Mr. Zelensky. Number one is incredible courage and bravery. What he did when the invasion started, walking around the streets and like giving the Ukrainian people a symbol that was not afraid and unbowed and pushing forward. That was like most leaders would not do that. That took a tremendous amount of courage. And most leaders will never reach a moment in their career or never hope to reach a moment in their career where they have to show off that kind of courage. And they either have it or they don't. Like there was something inside of him that said, I will resist, I will push back. And it's admirable. And it's probably why I let myself be blinded a little bit. The second thing I'll say though, when Putin invaded, it wasn't just the bravery, it was he understood the mistake that Putin made. He called him on it. He said, okay, fine, let's go. You want to do this? Like we're going to do this. You just gave me the way out of my terrible presidency, and now I'm going to put Ukraine on the map for the next 100 years. You know, there have been fits and starts, and he's done some wrong things since the war started. As a wartime president, you can't really ask for much of a better record considering the cards that he held. Now, I'm sure you're about to take him to town for everything that happened before that, and really, the reason I think we should talk about him is because he's a creation of Putin's incompetence. He is not himself a leader who would have scaled the heights and done all these things on his own. He needed somebody to make such a monumental error. You need that kind of mistake in order to get a Zelensky figure.
This person is so specialized. Yeah, he was a great wartime. I would argue against that. I think he was great in the first 18 months. We did this last time, so we're not going to go over it. I think he's made some disastrous moves over the last 18 months. I think he's completely lost his space. I think he's unrealistic. He's cost Ukraine lives. I think he's cost Ukraine territory. And more than that, before the invasion, there's a whole slew of things, including that he got suckered by the US into believing he could get a better deal than the Minsk Accords that the Europeans negotiated for him. Well, guess what? Millions of lives later, 20% of territory later, how do you like that? How do you like them apples? So I think that Zelensky is going to go down in Ukrainian history as a great leader, and he deserves that.
I don't know that Ukraine exists if he isn't there.
That's the other thing I kind of disagree. I think a lot of people on their list, Jacob, have the temerity of a Zelensky. I think they do. Not all of them, I agree. But like sitting there and saying that he's a great leader because of a personal quality that maybe 30% of humans have. You know, love of your country, sacrifice. I don't know, like, would Georgia Maloney stay and fight? Yeah, fuck, I think she would have. I think she would have looked Vladimir Putin straight in the eye and said, come in, bring it. But I think she would have also known when to quit. I think she would have also known when to fold them, when not to invade Russia with your best troops that get trapped and killed for no good reason. And so, yeah, I do think that the Western myth of Zelensky is like, oh my God, nobody would have done that. That comes out of the Western elites that they truly would not have done it because their kids go to private schools in Bethesda County. They've never actually done anything dangerous in their lives because they don't come from a place where you have to make decisions like that every day. I think there's a slew of leaders out there that do come from places like Ukraine. I come from one of those places, and yeah, absolutely, I don't see that what he did in that moment. I think it's extraordinary, so I don't want to say it wasn't extraordinary, but I don't think that it was as unique or surprising as I think it is in a Western world where we haven't had a serious conflict in 80 years.